Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Okay, so a short introduction to him. So today we have gathered here for a great session on exploring the world of generative AI, fundamentals of applied data science, and conversational LLMs. So our great speaker for the session is Mr. Abhishek Mungoli. Please welcome him. Mr. Abhishek Mungoli is the lead data scientist at Meesho. Uh, Mr. Abhishek is a seasoned data scientist with over 7 years of experience in the field. He's a master's degree holder in computer science from IIIT-Hyderabad and has worked with companies like Walmart and Meesho, where he currently serves as a lead data scientist. So, sir, I request you to please start the session. Thank you so much, sir.
Sure, sure. Can you also just give a brief about students, like from which particular stream they have joined and which year they are in, and what are the courses they are currently going through?
Uh, sure, sir. Actually, sir, we people here are the students of BS in data science and programming. We all are doing this particular course from IIT Madras, and this course basically focuses on, like, this course has 4 levels in itself. The first level is the foundation, the second is diploma. There are two diplomas basically. One is the diploma in programming, and the other is the diploma in data science. The third level basically is the degree level, and in the fourth year we pursue the degree of BS basically. So maybe there may be students from all the three stages. There may be students from foundation, from diploma, and the degree itself. So
Got it. And all are students, right? No professors or anyone here in this session?
Uh, so yes, it's most of the students, no professor. Yeah.
Sure, sure. So we can get started.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Sure.
sir. Sure.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining. I will just share my screen and start with my introduction. Let me know if my screen is up and visible. And also, questions you guys can, if any doubts, you can ask in the chat. I will also trick breaks in between so that we can make this session more interactive. Is my screen up and visible?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yes.
So, hello everyone. Once again, I am currently working as lead data scientist for Meesho, and before that, I was working as senior data scientist for Walmart, and I have done my master's from IIIT Hyderabad in computer science, and also my bachelor's is from computer science background only. And these are my credentials. I Medium. I used to write a lot before. Nowadays I don't write much in Medium. And this is my LinkedIn. Also, this is my YouTube channel, Instagram and TopMate. Uh, yeah, there's some story about these things also, which I will cover as we progress. And like most of you are students, and sometimes you must be wondering like, what do IT professionals do, or when you start your job, what will be your work? In that front, I can just share like my experience till now. I was there in Walmart for 5.5 years, then in Meesho currently for 1.5 years. In Walmart, my work, I joined as a fresher just after my master's. My work was around pricing analytics, like giving dynamic markdowns to the items. For example, if you have many fresh items, bread, egg, all those kind of fresh things which comes with an expiry, right? Like 1 day, 2 days, depending on the quantity of the items left and time of the day, come up with dynamic discount percentages so that the wastage is minimum and as well as maximum revenue we can generate out of it. And also I have worked in supply chain, which is more around uh, predicting the right amount of inventory needs, so that it doesn't happen that customer comes and there is not, that item is not available. So forecasting the right inventory needs for the stores. In the last half of my career in Walmart, like just before joining the next company, I was working in fraud analytics, which was very different from the previous experience of pricing and supply. In fraud analytics, it was more about catching the fraud persons. For example, some customer who may be doing repeated refund, repeated cancellation. Similarly, with the delivery and seller who might be doing this kind of wrong activities, and other kind of linked accounts, as in like customer making a, like if we see they are doing the payment through same mode, but every time asking for refund, all these kind of frauds, even if it's at customer end, seller end, or the delivery agent end. This different. So we had a suit which we developed as a part of it. And currently in Meesho, I am working in recommendation system. Everything is recommendation system in this world. For example, when you open Insta, you see a lot of reels, stories, and they are so engaging that you might be opening it just ठीक है 2 minute कर लेता हूँ, and then you spend a lot of time there, because those, the recommendation systems are meant to be that much interactive and like to they are meant to engage you. That's why those are so engaging. So ensuring that these recommendation systems are engaging in e-commerce domain. When I say e-commerce domain, how can it be engaging? We are showing the right product to the catalog, sorry, right product to the customer. Like if you see if you are looking for a shoe, we know that you are looking for a shoe, and showing you all the best shoes available. So in that way we can make it more engaging. And also in the advertisement domain. So basically I am working on the recommendation part of the advertisement domain, which is the advertisement. The advertised products should also be uh, the personalized. Basically, you are looking for a shoes, then show all the products which are there on advertisement but are shoes. So basically, personalized advertisements, uh, making sure that those are engaging. As well as I work on the supplier end. Basically, supplier wants to run an advertisement. Why do they want to run their advertisement? They want to maximize their ROI, which is return of investment. If they are putting some money, they would want to make 10x out of it. So ensuring that whatever the new products they are launching, those are getting the right visibility. And also, as I was saying, personalized ads. So if seller has 3 products, we are showing it to the right users who need it. And as well as other supplier panel recommendations, like supplier may not be that much techy as we are, right? They may be just doing the business. So making that supplier panel as easy to understand for them by having lot of machine learning recommendations to it, that you put this much money, you will get this much gain out of it. So these kind of things I am working on. And as I'm working as a lead, if I have to tell my day-to-day task, it's more around understanding the business problem. Something maybe we have to provide visibility to the new products that the supplier is launching. And now I have to transform it into a data science solution, which is an analytical solution. Have a connect with stakeholders, which are like product, business teams, and come up with the right metric. Like if we make a solution, how we will evaluate that that solution is right by looking at the ML metrics, like which can be like the check one metrics. But when you work for an industry, you also have to look at business metrics, like the user experience should also increase, the time they are spending on the app should increase, the revenue it should, since it's an advertise, I'm working on advertisement platform, the revenue should be flowing for the company. Like the new launch should better the revenue but not make it worse than before. And I have multiple folks working with me, so sometimes mentor them, assign tasks, and take some tasks for myself, perform EDA, which is exploratory data analysis, write queries, build ML models, do research work, like read lot of research that is getting published, right? Like today we will cover LLMs, we will see what are people researching on. And as much you read, you get a lot of ideas. And it's not like if you read a research paper, everything you have to implement. If you find some part of interest, some part of it interesting, and some part of it uh, relevant to the problem that you are solving, you can apply those things. So this kind of things. And finally launch the solution, do an experiment, and if it's successful, scale the feature. So these are like my day-to-day tasks. And a part of it, like as I was saying, I also have a YouTube channel. The only problem is I don't get enough time. I'm working for a startup and there is a lot of work, but I have many topics planned in my mind, but don't get enough time to execute and make content out of it. But whenever I can, currently the frequency is one video in a month, or sometimes two videos in like two videos in 2 months. So, but that I would like to make more content, but not get I don't get enough time. But it will continue because it's just a great experience if you are passionate about something and you do your research, you create a content out of it. Even for your own understanding it helps, and also it helps the people who watch those content. So my motivating factor is like some awesome type of comments that I get on the videos, and sometimes people reach over LinkedIn and they found the content useful. Sometimes they say that in some interviews they found it useful. Mostly it happens that it's more useful for the experienced people, because these concepts are bit heavier, right? Like for example, how Pinterest has automated the spam detection, how attention mechanism works. But also like there are some videos like how the data science interviews are going on, what are asked. So I try to make mixed content. And yeah, I have around 2500 subscribers in YouTube and around 15,000 in LinkedIn. Yeah, before we start the actual session, which is the exploring the world of generative AI and fundamentals of applied data science, if there are any questions, I would love to take it.
Sir, is data science applicable in the field of psychology?
Sorry, can you come again?
Is data science is applicable in the field of psychology?
In the field of psychology,
Yes, sir.
psychology, I feel yes. Like what happens is that many times when you open an account in some of the website, they will ask you a lot of questions, right? And depending on those questions, they will tweak your feed. So definitely, it's like it depends on how, if you like, let's say you have a problem, you want to understand how the person thinks, what are their interests, and some psychological behavior. What you can do is you can club it, like this means the person is emotional, this means the person has this kind of trait ABC, and you can try to create the labels in that way. And if you have enough labeled data set, then why not? If you are so what I'm trying to say, if you have a problem in psychology, if you are able to convert into an analytical solution which have your class labels or something, which are the traits of the person, then yes, it can be applied. But as of now, like not any particular use case is coming in top of my mind. Hope that helps. Is work from home job available in the field of data science? It depends from companies to companies, but yes, there are remote openings as well. Any other questions before we start?
Sir,
Yes, please go ahead.
how can we relate mechanical engineering with data science?
I have a very good answer to that. Like, how can people from different fields relate to data science, and how actually people from different fields are making good progress in data science? I will cover that because that is there in the session. What was your okay? Any other question?
Sir, is mastery important for data science field or AI field?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you properly.
Is mastery important for data science field
Uh,
or AI
not
field?
not exactly. Not I don't think so. Master is important. I don't think so. Computer science background is important. I don't think mechanical engineering is important. Just some qualification with which you can apply in the field of data science is good enough. And most of the discoveries in data science have been done, like not most, I would say many important discoveries in the data science have been done by people from different backgrounds. That's why I was resisting that question of mechanical engineering, because I have all that in my upcoming slides. So yeah, I will cover that as a part of that. And sure. Yeah, sure, Parul. We will take questions, more questions at the end. And EDA with an example. Uh, okay. I don't have anything around EDA in this, the content I have made, but maybe in future, definitely. So we'll get started. And in between, I will take more pause where we can take more questions in between. Thanks, Avnish. Invest to be up to date with the latest developments? This is a good question. So I'll just take this last question before we start. And just give me 1 second. Okay, I will just close the window once. Hey, sorry, guys. So the question was how much time approximately we need to remain updated with the latest development. These are very important questions, and this is a very important question. I also have this covered in my upcoming content, which I will just present to you. The answer is that if the fundamentals are clear, you don't need a lot of time to remain updated, because it becomes very easier to grasp any new concept or research which is going around. And how data science and machine learning relate to each other. Sure, we'll cover that as well. So let's start. So first of all, the goal of data science, like what is data science? The goal of data science is to use data to make informed decisions and predictions that can help businesses and organizations solve complex problem and also improve their performance. How? By, like, if you analyze the data, there will be interesting patterns, trends, and relationships in data that you will leverage to create more smarter solutions. About the field, so there was one question about, is mechanical engineering needed, is degree in data science needed? So I I don't think so. There is any particular degree needed to be in data science field, because what makes data science more special is the diverse nature of the field. At present, it's a multidisciplinary field with people from disciplines like computer science. I am from computer science, mathematics, physics, statistics, economy, psychology, etc. So when I joined Walmart, we were a close group of 5 friends. One, I was from computer science, the other one was from mathematics, ISC mathematics. The third friend was from statistics background from IIT Bombay, and there were many people from Delhi School of Economics. So what I'm trying to say, data data science doesn't need people from a particular background. That's the beauty of the field. It, what it needs is like more of common sense and critical thinking. If you have a problem to solve, like which are the factors, which are the patterns you will look for in the data, and come up with some kind of solutions which can solve the business problem. So it doesn't need to be, you need to be from a particular background. And also some of the most cutting edge discoveries have been done by people from non-CS background. For example, Geoffrey Hinton, he is not from computer science background, but he is from, I think, psychology background. So and there was also another question, right, like in the chat, that how to remain updated. Definitely, data science is a very fast-paced field where cutting-edge research is getting published every day, and work code is made open source that organizations actually test and deploy over next few days. As soon as the GPT was launched, many of the plugins were available to be integrated with your business or your website. And as well as whenever a new concept comes, the code is also made available. So it's a very fast-paced field with, like, code is getting available, the next day paper is getting published. and all. And we have a lot to catch up. But still, I believe that if the fundamentals are clear, one has the interest, it's not very hard to follow. But the fundamental needs to be clear. And what do I mean by fundamentals? I will cover that as well. And also the new ideas and applications are very much welcomed, and the gap between academia and industry is very small. I have seen, like for example, I have come here to give a session on this thing. I belong to the industry. Similarly, industry people like this is an example where an industry person has come for a lecture session. Similarly, there are professors and people from academia who come do the industry research and go back and teach. So this kind of cross collaboration is happening a lot, and that also is very special thing about the field. And coming to the business problems it can solve, it is nowadays integral part of all the business domains like finance, retail, human resource, real estate, manufacturing, and so on. So spam classifiers protect your inbox from filtering the malicious or promotional emails, right? Like in the Gmail, you have this auto detection of spam emails, and also when you apply for a job in LinkedIn, automatically your like, do you think the HR goes through each and every CV? No. So a lot of data extraction and some kind of mapping, whether it's a relevant for that job description or not, happens. So even in human resource kind of field, data science has its importance. Similarly, advertisement systems, like I'm working on advertisements, are aimed to target relevant ads for the user activities. Recommendation system recommend content based on users' interest. Fraud detection system protects bank from malicious attackers. And also there are like face detection, optical character recognition, self-driving cars, and in chess, Go, computer games, reinforcement learning is used, which are like beating the best in the field humans. So data science has left its mark in all the business domains. And but there are some challenges as well. First is that as we are making more and more progress, these models are becoming more sophisticated, complicated, and black box. It becomes very hard to interpret the meaning, like what the model is learning, what it is doing. For example, the GPT-3 has 175 billion parameters and GPT-4 has 100 trillion parameters. So like a model has these many parameters, what would you fetch out of it? Like, I mean, how you will understand what it has learned, which are the features it is giving importance to. Like, it becomes a very black box, right? But there are some visualization techniques that helps in understanding what's happening inside, and there are like some ways in which you can understand what the model has learned. But definitely this is a challenge that as models are becoming more and more larger, it is becoming more and more black box. And if you ask me that what is needed to get into a field of data science, I would say uh, having knowledge of machine learning, some statistics, and some basic mathematics, as in like gradient descent, PCA, this kind of like basic mathematics. How does dot product work? How does like what does like like vector operations work? This kind of things, if you have the fundamentals strong and you have good idea about data visualization, if you have a different type of data, how you will visualize it to understand the meaning out of it, and like SQL, you can write SQL queries to join tables and some data analysis. I think these are the basic skills which are needed to get started in a job, along with some machine learning statistics and mathematics fundamentals. And this is just an example that, as I was saying, these models are becoming very big, huge. It becomes very hard to interpret. And if you ask me, what does it take for someone to get into a good data science role? Uh, Data science is a very fast-paced field where cutting-edge research is getting published every day. But still, if the fundamentals are clear and one has the interest, it's not hard to follow. And with fundamentals, I mean basic mathematics, statistics, machine learning, some visualizations. How, like, you have, if I give you a data, depending on if it's a salary, what kind of visualization will you use? If it's a categorical variable, what kind of visualization will you do? So this kind of like basic fundamentals are clear. It's not very hard to follow, and you can get into the field. And also in terms of machine learning, what is needed in terms of machine learning, I would say start with the simplest concept before going to neural networks, LLM, and all those things. And simple concept basically would be linear regression. I would say linear regression is one of the most complete machine learning algorithm in itself, in terms of machine learning concepts, because it like when I say linear regression, it is linear. So you will understand what is linearity and what is non-linearity. What is correlation? When do we say two features or two variables are correlated? What is homoscedasticity? What is p-value? P-value is a concept from statistics, whether the variable in your model is significant or not. Similarly, uh, uh, as I was saying, the bigger models are becoming more and more black box, but linear regression uh, is the most white box model with explainable coefficients. You can just like the coefficients are the meaning that what the model has learned. And also like there is a concept of regularization which is done through lasso and ridge. And why do I say that if you understand linear regression properly, then the fundamentals are clear. Because now let me extrapolate it to some of the advanced concepts, and there you will see the beauty. When I say linear regression is a linear model, so you will understand the tree, neural networks, these are non-linear models. And when I say explainable coefficients, in linear regression, you can just look at the coefficients, and those are the meaning, like how much with the change in feature, the model is changing. But when it comes to neural networks, you will use something like visualization or Shapley values, and regularization in the form of lasso and ridge will become something like dropout net, or something like inverse dropout, and similar kind of regularization are used in neural networks as well. So if these concepts are clear, you know like what all these terms are, it's not very hard to relate it when you come to a more sophisticated model. And there is in my channel you can find a complete list of linear regression. There are, I think I have made 5 videos. You can just go through it also, or you can just not just my video, you can go through any good content which covers linear regression from zero to end. And once you have the complete clarity of linear regression, you will feel more confident about understanding even the tougher models. And as linear regression is the most fundamental model in regression, logistic regression, I would say, uh, just turning off my video for a minute. Like linear regression is the most fundamental model. Like linear regression is the most fundamental model for regression. Logistic regression is the most fundamental model for classification, where you understand that what are probabilities. How linear regression will just give you numbers, but how these numbers are squeezed into probabilities. And also in linear regression, the closed form solution exists. What do I mean by closed form? So when I say it, if I ask someone in an interview, can you solve this using closed form solution? What does a closed form solution mean? And is logistic regression closed form solution exist or not? So when you understand this concept, you will know that why in neural networks we use gradient descent, and whether the closed form solution would actually exist or not. And even if it exists, is it feasible to solve or not? So these kind of very fundamentals of linear logistic regression, if these are clear, then it's not very hard to follow the sophisticated models. So this is my advice. And once you have this concept clear, it's definitely very good to know about neural nets as well and LLMs as well, which I will cover in this session. But as an advice, I would say keep the fundamentals clear, strong, and that's it. And remaining things will follow, because lot of research is happening day on day, which you have to follow up, and it becomes very easier. Yeah, so before starting so this was the session on the applied data science, which I wanted to cover, that when it comes to applied data science, what are the things which are needed, how the industry is evolving, and in which all businesses the data science is used. And next we will move to the generative AI part of it. But before that, I will just take a small pause and see if there are any questions.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Sir, I want to ask, sir, what is the role of like machine learning and data science in in the field of self-driving cars, like in Tesla, and what's the role in it or in robotics industry? What is the similarity between data science and automotive cars and robotics field? So I want to get into that a particular field with data science.
Sure. And there are some questions in the chat also. I will look into that as well. So covering this question, which is like how data science is basically, the question is how data science is used in self-driving cars and robotics, right? So again, uh, think of it like just this is a business problem, is that you have to do the self-driving cars using machine learning. So how would you do that? First of all, what are the data science components of it? First of one is looking at in the screen, like seeing the visuals which will come as a video is nothing but frames of images. As the images are coming, what you have to do with the steering, right? So basically, definitely one problem is image detection, detecting different signals, whether what traffic light is, if it's a pedestrian crossing, you need to slow down. So one component is visual detection, which identifying what are the visuals which are happening, and also visuals at the end. So there will be camera here, there, everywhere, which will take photos, and depending on that photos, you will take the decision that what needs to be done. So that is one part. And second part, which is like other part, is the robotics part, where depending on those visuals, uh, how the steering has to be moved, and like when you have to slow down. So these are some of the problems which are part of this robotics and self-driving. Like, yeah, I mean, these are the data science component of those problems. Hope that answers your question. And what are the
So
other
we use
questions?
machine learning or AI in like in self-driving cars. If we want to go into that industry, then what are these basic things which we need to know?
So
You say
AI normally what happens is, when we say AI, it comes to our mind is neural networks, but actually AI is a superset, which and machine learning is just a subset of it. So how I see it is, I see AI, machine learning, data science, all of them as same. Though in industries, when we say something is an analytical solution versus machine learning solution, the difference is that machine learning solution uses ML model, while analytical solution may just you do something like rule based. But I would suggest don't differentiate as AI and machine learning. Differentiate it on the basis of problem you are solving. If suppose you are solving a problem of like detecting the images, what are the different signals in the road and all, you may need to do some kind of image detection and all, and where people use neural networks. But some of the other problems, you may use a simple machine learning model, which can be a tree based model. So in that way, I would suggest you can look at it. Okay, one question is, most data science openings ask for experienced professional. What should freshers or people running from other background do in order to consider? Even I don't have an answer to this. Even I get a lot of messages that about the openings for freshers. So sorry, here even I won't be able to give a exact answer, but I would just say keep applying. Start with maybe whichever role you get in machine learning, start with that, and as you get more experience, you can apply for the other companies where you feel it's more aligning with your type of problems you want to solve, right? And shape
Sir,
them
in
like that.
2023, which branch is good, sir? CS or AIML, sir? BTech for BTech.
Uh, Actually, during my time when I did my BTech MTech, there was nothing like BTech MTech in AI or data science ML. But now, if that specialized branch has come up, I would suggest you can go through the curriculum, like as even the host was telling, right? Like in this course of yours, you do data structures and machine learning, lot of things. Just see what aligns with your interest, and then you can take a call. And shape and line, yes. As the model becomes more complicated, shape and line are very good techniques from game theory that can be used to achieve model explainability. Are there any possibility any large company? Yeah. So the question is that will an AI model will come which will solve most of the problems and data science job will be at risk? Uh, I think very soon, like it is my personal opinion, I think very soon people will realize that these tools like ChatGPT and also the advanced tools which are about to come in future are like the tools, and how we can effectively use them to be more productive. And also, for example, I'll give you an example. Nowadays, when I'm solving a problem, I devise a strategy, and most part of the coding, right? I just use the code snippets from these ChatGPTs and all, because why to waste time on writing codes which I can already get? Definitely, I do a testing that whether those codes are working or not. So in that way, you can be more productive. And as well as when you are solving a research problem, which happens every day in data science, like you have to solve something, which approach might be good. So use it as a tool and be more productive. And in that way, if you're using it as a tool to become more productive, I don't think it's a risk for any data science jobs. But definitely some of the jobs like content writing, all those things are very good if you used AI. What's your advice to the foundation level students on which topics need to? Yes, so I already covered that. Foundation level, I would say start with linear regression, logistic regression. You can go through any good resource. Even I have videos on linear regression, logistic regression. So I started my journey with understanding linear regression, logistic regression in great depth, because when I was working in this pricing analytics, no, what happens in pricing analytics, your models can't be black box. It needs to be very much white box, which is very much explainable. So there I did a lot of this thing, linear regression and also those concepts definitely help. So I would say linear regression, logistic regression, basics of statistics, which is like descriptive, prescriptive, and in statistics you can also look at different distributions and probability theory. I'm even thinking to create a series on probabilities, but that is fine. But so definitely some probability theory. These are the concepts if you are know pretty well. For example, in probability, what is this inclusion exclusion principle? What are mutual exhaustive? What are independent events? What is conditional probability? What is marginal probability? So these things, this kind of fundamentals helps. What okay, if you have models play with image, okay, sure. So I think other, what sources do you rely to stay updated in latest research field? So I will take this last questions, which resources I is used to remain updated. So with time, like I have now become more experienced, so I know that which companies blogs are good, which I have a list of companies whose blogs from my past experience I know are good. Similarly, in data science, I know which conferences are good. I take a look on those papers, their papers, like those research, those conferences papers. And also, if you follow good people in LinkedIn and all, they also share a lot of content. So that also once in a while, when you once you scroll, you see that, you save it for later, and when you get time, then you read it later. So in that way, I remain updated. And also when I am solving a problem at work, I do literature survey that have other companies ever solved this problem, and if they've solved it, have they published anything? So in that way, I remain updated. And also out of interest, that for example, what's going on in this LLMs and all. So that way, I remain updated. Moving forward, I will take remaining questions as we progress. Coming to the generative AI part. So I will start with GPT models, which is generative pre-trained transformers. The third version of the GPT models revolutionized the deep learning applications of NLP. So basically, I was watching a video of Andre Karpathy, who is a very big figure in data science. He was saying that when this transformer paper was launched, even the authors would have never imagined that this will become this big. But the architecture of transformer model is so elegant, which has laid the foundation for all these GPT and GPT models and ChatGPT and all the LLMs that we are seeing. So GPT, it all started with the transformer model, and this is the transformer model, which consists of two parts. One is the encoder part, and other is the decoder part. So your inputs goes as an input, which get decoded at the decoder. So this part is encoder, this part is decoder. And why is it so powerful? Why is this transformer architecture so powerful? It is so powerful because of the attention mechanism. So attention basically means that I pass it a sentence, each word will attend to other words to figure out which word is more important to that. For example, uh, France is a good country and it has a lot of beautiful buildings. So it has a lot of beautiful buildings. It means I'm talking about France. So the word it has a strong dependency on France. So in that way, every word will identify that which other words has it needs to attend to. And in transformer architecture, the attention mechanism is self-attention. That is, every word can attend to itself. Like what I mean to say, every word can attend to other word in the given sentence. So this self-attention made it very powerful. A part of it, it also has multi-headed attention. So there is not just one head, but there are multiple heads. Similarly, the parallel processing, like the previous models like RNN, LSTMs, and GRUs, they used to uh, process input part by part sequentially, but this transformer model does parallel processing, which makes it very faster along with the normalization, layer normalization. So here you can see the inputs are getting through the encoder. There is multi-headed attention, the attention that I talked about, and the layer normalization, see add and norm is there, which is like it will normalize the activations and make it more stable and pass it through the next layer. And there is not just one attention, there are multiple attention heads, which makes the learning very efficient compared to the previous models, because it has now the capability to self attend to different words. And when we say generative AI, what's the difference between generative and discriminative AI? Discriminative AI is the AI that we are all used to, right? Which is like classifying or predicting something. But generative AI means you are generating new type of data. For example, I am giving an input, which is like love is all that matters. Let's say the input is love is all that matters. And in output, I want the translated version of it, that प्यार ही सबसे ज्यादा मायने रखता है. So I am generating a new content out of it, which is like the translated version of it. So in that way, it's called generative AI because it is generating new data, and it's used for many interesting and sophisticated tasks. For example, generating images, generating music, generating text. The text example I already gave, where I was doing a translation. And how is this GPT model trained? Okay, so first thing is we have defined a sophisticated architecture, and we say that each part of it, like the head, attention, everything is very much optimized, but it needs to get trained on some data, right? And what is that data, how it's trained? So GPT is pre-trained on large amount of text data. Actually, it's trained on the whole internet. And in the pre-training, the task is auto-regressive. Where, what do I mean by that? It will go through the entire internet and learn to predict the next word. For example, the dog, next word is sat, and if the first three words are the dog sat, next word should be down. The dog sat down, where, like end of sentence, which is full stop. Similarly, for all the internet data, it has scanned it and learned to do the next word prediction. And that's the reason whenever you ask ChatGPT anything, it is able to answer, because it has gone through all the data in internet, and it has learned that how these words come along with each other. That is how the probability distribution is. The chicken walked, the walked, if we are talking about chicken, and next word will be something what the chicken did, which is walked. So it has learned those kind of probability distributions. It has gone through whole internet. That's why it is able to answer all your questions. Not the GPT model, the chat GPT model. So we will also understand what's the difference between GPT and how GPT is fine-tuned to get ChatGPT. We'll look into that as well. And also there is this concept of this thing, just we'll skip for now, we'll see it later. Now coming to ChatGPT, how is ChatGPT different from GPT? So GPT is a pre-trained model which is very smart, which has learned through the entire internet, predicting the next word, right? If you give it a sentence, in incomplete sentence, it will be able to predict the next word, but it has not learned to answer your queries. To if you ask a question, to provide the answer to it, has not learned that, but it has learned the whole internet data predicting the next word. Since the chat GPT, sorry, since the GPT model, GPT-3 and all, they have 175 billion parameters. So okay, so one more point. It has learned to predict the next word, and it has many parameters, 175 billion parameters. And when we say parameter, what are these? It is storing all the information in those parameters. That's why your chat GPT and all these models are able to answer, because it has stored it somewhere. Now people say, right, like GPT-4 will have even 1 billion parameters. So more parameters, more memory. It will save those things. Now what was done on top of GPT was, it has all the memory, those many parameters, and it has learned to predict the next word. It was fine-tuned to create ChatGPT. And how it was fine-tuned? Uh, as soon as the user gives a prompt, for example, explain reinforcement learning to a 6-year-old, the labeler, the human labeler, will provide an answer that what is a reinforcement learning. He will provide an answer. And what we would expect the ChatGPT model is that this type of questions, when is provided, this should be the answers you should emit. And it is not a very tough learning for ChatGPT. Why? Because it is just doing the fine tuning. The actual hard work is already done by GPT-3, which has learned the probability distributions stored in its parameter, how the different aspects of knowledge, and it's a black box. Even we don't know like what it is stored, how it's processing, but we can say that it becomes very easier for ChatGPT to fine tune. Now we are saying your task is not to do the next word prediction, but do the answers prediction. So basically, a question is asked, labeler will tell it what is the answers it should produce. Now, as we know this, there is the step one, which is fine-tuned on prompt, and labeler creates a response in a supervised way. Supervised because labeler is providing the response. It's a supervised learning. Now in step two, we know that these type of models have parameters, and it's probabilistic in nature. That is, given one word, you will be able to predict the probability of next word and all those things. Since this is a probabilistic distribution, it can provide many answers. So you would have seen, when you ask ChatGPT something, it provides some answer, and when you ask it again, it will provide some other response. In meaning, it may be same, but the choice of words are different. Why? Because it's a probabilistic distribution. That is, after each word, it will draw the next word and so on. So what in the second step is done, there can be multiple answers to the same question. A labeler will rank them, that which is the best one and which is the second best, third best, fourth best, and so on. And what interesting thing they did was, on this labeler ranking, who is ranking that which answer was the best, followed by second best, third best, a model is created which will do the ranking. So a reward model is created. So in first step, fine tuning is done. Second step, since there can be multiple answers, a labeler will rank them, and how the labeler is ranking, the reward model is created. Like, instead of, so that every time we don't need a labeler. So in the third step, we automate everything. We remove the labeler from here, first step, because now the model knows, like, given a question, it has to produce an answer. And how is the answer quality, this reward model will decide, and it will give a reward, and it will go on a self-correcting loop. That is the step 3. And here it's called reinforcement learning, because it's also there is some kind of controlled exploration that happens, so that sometimes the model is able to learn some new type of creative outputs. So this is how the ChatGPT is trained. Now lot of discussions and lot of people are writing or creating videos on effective prompting, that Suppose you have a task in hand, you have to write an assignment for your project. Then how can you make it stand out? Or you may have particular idea in your mind, right? How can you do the effective prompting? And also, just few slides back, I said, no, let's skip this slide. I will cover that. So here I want to cover the effective prompting. What do you mean by prompting? Prompting means how you will ask ChatGPT for an answer, so that uh, you get your task solved in the way you want. So effective prompting is a tactic that aims to improve the performance and accuracy of LLMs by providing them instructions and signals of your task. So here two interesting topics that a lot of discussions is going around. One is chain of thoughts. That is, when you are asking for a question, also tell it that think is with a chain of thoughts. For example, 2 plus 3 into 4. So here what we need to do, first we need to multiply two numbers, and then once multiplication is done, then we need to add them. So first I need to apply this and then do this, so that when you ask it a complicated question, it doesn't just give you the answer, but it tells you that what are the chain of thoughts it has used to reach the final answer. Another thing is few short examples, which is, suppose you have a task to summarize a big article, and how you want to summarize, you want a catchy headline followed by a brief summary, and you want some important keywords. So you can show some examples. That few shorts learning means you are showing some examples, so that the task in hand you want it to solve in that particular way. So these are two effective prompting methodologies. And also, like this, in ChatGPT, not in Chat, yeah, in ChatGPT, there's a playground where you can play with the parameters, like the temperature parameter. And also, in this Microsoft offering, you can see that when you are, okay, let me just do it. When you open the chat window, it will ask you that which mode do you want. Do you want the most creative mode, balanced mode, or precise mode? So how is this thing created, right? So there, okay, okay. So going back, yes. So how is this thing? Once again. Okay, so what is this creative, balance, and precise thing? What is this temperature parameter? So there, what is done is, uh, so once you have these parameters and all the ChatGPT model, in the last layer uh, there is a softmax function. And what you can say is that if your temperature parameter is high, now I was also saying in the beginning, right? Like, we need the fundamentals clear. So here we will understand simple mathematics. So this is a simple softmax function, right? And the work of softmax function is, if I have provided you with some numbers, if you pass it through a softmax function, all the numbers will become normalized. That is, they will add up to 1. The total, they will become probability, because when you add all the events, they will sum up to 1. And how it happens is, there can be different ways, right? If I give you 5 numbers, you can take the first number, divide it by sum of other numbers, you will get the probability. So in sigmoid, in softmax, you also take a exponentiation of it. Now, in this exponentiation, if you divide it by, let's say, a value t, what will happen if this t is very large? Just think about it. What will happen if t is very large? If t is sorry, let's think about if t is very small. If t is very small, what will happen is the small numbers will become even more smaller, right? Like, these smaller numbers, when you divide by even smaller number, what will happen? It will become a big. So what I'm trying to say, when you increase the temperature parameter, like if you make it very big, then what will happen? The big numbers will remain big and the smaller numbers will become smaller. So increasing the temperature parameters make the model output more diverse, as it softens the probability distribution. If you divide by a large number, what will happen? In this example, if you see 0.5, these are the numbers. If I divide it by, if I take a sigmoid and divide it by, if I take a softmax of it and my t is 1, what will happen? You will get something like this. But when you divide it by smaller numbers, the numbers will become bigger, and the number which was already big will become even bigger, So the gap will increase. But if you divide it by a larger number, what will happen? All the numbers will become very similar because you have divided by a larger number. So increasing the temperature parameters, as you see, when you increase the temperature parameter, the numbers becomes very similar. So the output becomes more diverse. But when your T is small, the lower probability becomes even larger. So the gap increases. So basically large T, all the numbers become similar. So it can draw any word. But when the T is larger, then all the numbers become equally diverse. But when the T is small, then the gap increases. So this is how the creativity is controlled. But also there are some challenges with the LLMs. These challenges are uh, factual error, biases, offensive response, toxicity, risky, harmful information, and hallucinations. We'll look at all of them. So what is factual error? I asked LLM that how many sections are there in Motor Vehicle Act. It told me there are 14 sections, but actually there are 217 sections. So why it gave a wrong answer? Because it's just based on probabilities, right? The next word prediction. Most of the cases, it like if you ask it a question, it will give you a partial correct answer, but there can be possibility of factual error because it's nothing but a probability distribution across words, that given your question, what it needs to emit as an answer, and the answer is nothing but probability distribution of words which makes your answer. So it is possible that it can make an error. Here you can see there are 217 sections, but it says 14 sections. Next thing, it can be biased. For example, I asked it, what is a profession that suits female more than males? It says nursing, teaching, and fashion designing, and HR, right? So it's not like an LLM is biased towards anything, but the data, it has learned the internet data. So internet data may be biased. It can have gender, age, bias, confirmation bias, cognitive bias, which comes out in the response as well. And sometimes you can also get offensive, abusive, or toxic response. And I have seen that in ChatGPT and all, it's less because uh, those are more like versioned model, but or more proprietary models. But like in LLMs, sorry, open source ones, this problem is more common because they have not been tested, or this type of things are taken care of explicitly in them. And so first thing we saw factual error, second thing we saw bias, third is risky and harmful response. So I asked this to Dolly. It won't happen with ChatGPT. If you ask this to ChatGPT, it will say this is a harmful question, I won't answer it. But in open source language models, which are where everything is open source, what I did, I downloaded the weights from internet and ran it on GPU. So I asked it, how can I make a bomb to blast a city? Give me all material needed.
IIT Madras, they will be welcoming you, addressing some of the important aspects of the program. And
Sorry,
if you have any
can
questions,
we mute?
we already received.
Sure. So as I was saying, in open source language models, this problem is more common. I asked it, give me all the materials needed to blast a city, like make a bomb and blast a city. It first off, it told that, okay, put the bomb in a public road or airport, and then it started giving all the ingredients, which I have just not shown here. It started giving the ingredients needed to blast a city. So these are very risky and harmful response information, which needs to have that ethical AI concept here, which is like whatever is made open source should go through strong checks, and the ethics should be preserved, right? So that is what I've mentioned there. These issues are less common in proprietary LLMs like ChatGPT, Bing Chat, and Hugging Chat, but the open source LLMs, which are publicly available and you can download weights, these kind of problems are very common. And there is a possibility it can be used for bad intentions. Similarly, like also it does hallucinations. I asked it what is section 303 in Motor Vehicle Act. It gave me something, but there is no section 303. There are only 217 sections. And I asked it what are some research papers from advertisement domain. It gave me some papers, and these papers, this author doesn't exist. It just made up names, made up titles, and all those things. Yeah, and also like as I was saying, like a lot of research is going on. Chat GPT, Bing Chat, GPT-4, Hugging, these you won't get the weights available or the models available, but many of the other open source LLMs are available. The Dolly is available from Databricks, Meta's LLM is Stanford's Alpaca, and then Bloom. Hugging Chat, this is the first open source alternative to ChatGPT. So these are some of the open source LLMs. And what is the work, if I see currently is going around LLMs, it's more around improving the efficiency and scalability of LLMs, which is like optimizing techniques to increase context length, sparse attention, flash attention, conditional computation, pruning, distillation, quantization. I'm not going into them. I would have loved to go into them, but they will become more complicated for this session. But these are some of the algorithmic advances going on in and also some of the research going around in LLMs around this, and also addressing the ethical and social issues. I already showed you, right? What are the problems, the factual error, hallucinations, harmful, risky information, how can it be addressed? So works are going around, or research is going around that as well. Now, the last part of the session that I would like to cover, and would request all of you to be there till the end, so that the last, this might be important for you guys, and then we can take all the questions. So how to effectively use conversational LLMs? Till now I have shown some of the problems, but problems are very less compared to the advantages. The it's god level, when it comes to summarizing information. It's god level when it comes to when you want a quick refresher about some topic, a quick understanding about some topic. It's pretty awesome. So like how to effectively use it, and how I will also cover how I am using it. So there are multiple benefits to conversational LLMs, and there's a potential to revolutionize the way we interact with machines, right? In future, it will become more and more better. And some of the ways or advantages in which I use it or people use it is content creation, text summarization, virtual assistant, coding assistant, personalized learning, research assistant. I will cover all of them one by one, and that will be the end of it. So first of all, let's look at content creation. So it's very good in creating content. So what I these days I do is, when I have a video ready, I would say, I will tell it that what my video is about, and I would ask it to generate a post which is very much catchy. For example, here I have given it the question. I have told it that I am create a LinkedIn post on my videos on LLM. I will release it tomorrow, where I will cover the architecture and training process. So see, exciting news. Tomorrow I will be releasing LLMs and what I will cover. And also it has generated some this hashtags and all. So it's very good in creating this kind of content. And for me, I am an individual person, but think about companies who want to do it every day. They want to popularize something in LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. They can just automate this with LLMs, right? Next is text summarization and language translation. So text summarization basically means you have a long research paper, news article, you want to summarize it. And language translation, just think about it. You created an app. Now you can just release a vernacular version of it, which is like maybe in Hindi. So you can use ChatGPT to translate text. So the same post which I was showing, I asked it to write in Hindi also. And see, उत्साहजनक समाचार, कल मैं LLM भाषा मॉडल और उनकी प्रशिक्षण प्रक्रिया पर एक वीडियो रिलीज करने जा रहा हूँ. So मतलब it's another level when it comes to this kind of task. And third task is virtual assistant to power businesses, right? Why are so every companies like travel agencies and educational companies, even for Khan Academy, they have launched their own bot, right? So why companies and business are using bots? Because what you can do with bots is, you can, as the person comes, you can understand from them what they are looking for, and then simply tie them to your inventory. For example, I am also planning to create a video out of this video, how can we create chatbot and how can we link it with our inventory. But see this use case, it may be too small, so I will read it for you. I asked it that, what are you looking for? The person says dog collar. Then I asked that, I didn't ask it, I used LLM that produce different varieties of dog collar. It says basic collar, head halters, harness, GPS collars, and so on. And once the person selects that they want LED collars, what I can do is I can just map it to my inventory and and produce for the user to buy, right? So in this way, virtual assistants or bots are powering business. Coming to the next one, which is coding assistant, as I was saying, like uh, what you want to do with a function, or nowadays sometimes I also do, I write a neural network in Keras and I use these ChatGPT to convert it into PyTorch. Just I say this is my Keras version, write a PyTorch version of it, and also I tell it this is my Python data frame. I need to do group by this, and then I want to do a pivot and all those things, and tell it in simple plain English what I want to do, and get the output from it. And as someone also commented in the message, GitHub Copilot and all, so they have already integrated this intelligence in IDEs, which is integrated development environments. Coming to the next one is my favorite, and I use this a lot, which is personalized learning. Now, when I was taking this session, many times some questions might have come to your mind, but you would have not asked, right? Reason being, maybe you may not be comfortable asking in the public, or secondly, you might have thought about the time and all. But the first, if we go to the first reason, which is you may not be very comfortable asking in front of everyone, and we sometimes feel that our question is maybe a foolish question. It's a very basic question which we should know. But with ChatGPT, it's not the case. You ask it. I asked it, what is temperature parameter? I didn't know what a temperature parameter is, which I was showing few slides ago. It told me something that this is what temperature parameter is. I didn't understand. I asked it. It show me with a mathematics, show me with example what it does, and it showed me with example, and I understood. And same example I copied pasted in that other slide which I presented to you. And lot of the content that you are seeing is from ChatGPT. So use it as a personalized learning. And I see lot of automation happening here in, I see a lot of future of this in ed tech, which is educational tech, that use it for your personal learning. Everyone has different level of clarity about the concepts. Everyone has different kind of doubts. Everyone has different pace of learning. But with this kind of ChatGPT and LLMs, you can personalize your education at your own pace. And lastly, this is the final thing, as a research assistant. So I keep creating content, right? So I was implementing this local sensitive hashing, which is a type of approximate nearest neighbor. Here, all this concept is fine, but I got stuck in a very simple mathematics question, which is I have few points which are multi-dimensional, like 64, 75, 64 dimensional, which are called embeddings. I had 64 dimensional embeddings, and I have many such data points. So what I'm trying to say, I have 64 dimensional data point, and one data point is of 64 dimensional, and I have data set of very such data points. What I wanted was, I wanted an equation of a plane where when I put this, like let's say 20 points, they lie on the plane. So what would be the equation of that plane? And the reason I was doing that, once I have the equation of the plane where these 10 points lie, any other point I can simply find whether it lies on the upper side of the plane or lower side of the plane, and depending on that I can give it a label. So this is how LSH works. So I posted these questions, that question that I want to find the equation of a plane given multi-dimensional point, and it suggested me that these are the methods I can use, and I use the first one. So as a research assistant, when you are doing a research, like many of the tasks, many of the granular tasks, you can use it to get some creative input, that how can you solve it. And once you have a creative way of solving the granular task, the bigger problem becomes easier to solve. So here also it's the same thing. As a research assistant bot, you can use it. And this was the question I posted. I have k dimensional point, each having 32 dimension. I am interested in determining the equation of the plane that contains these points. Yeah, with that, we come to the end of this session, and I would love to take more questions, and thanks for everyone who stayed till end.
Sir, couple of quick questions, sir. In fact, I had posted in chat box also, sir. There was a question related to stock market, that whether data science and machine learning could be helpful for in analyzing the stocks or portfolio management and all. So, do you have come across any this kind of case studies?
So again, yes, I have seen some of the YouTube videos where people are saying that they have created this kind of financial bot which will devise strategies for them. It's possible. So in multiple ways it's possible. I will give you some examples. You have a strategy in mind, okay, and you are not from a very hardcore coding background. You have strategies in mind. You can just write those strategies in plain English and ask it to code, and your codes for your financial bot is ready. There can be other ways where you I was also talking about prompting, right, where you can provide the input like what you want to solve. There you can tell that last X days, these are the stocks I am targeting, and these have been their performance. And just try to tell me where should I invest and why. Give me chain of thoughts, like why do you think this is important? This way I should invest. With chat gpt kind of system, they may not give you the answers. They may say we are like they have done some kind of checks that like I am not a financial bot, it can say something like that. But with the open source llms, you can fine tune it, you can tweak, you can fine tune the models, and you can devise a strategy. So it's all about if you are able to frame the problem statement or the schemes or the strategy you have into an analytical solution, and it's possible.
So it is still under exploration, what you are trying to say, and I am getting it. Like no concrete framework or something like that. Of course, it can't be. Otherwise, everyone, right. And sir, honestly speaking, it was really honestly speaking. Yeah, sorry. Continue.
Yeah. So if you create some strategy, some fuzzy strategy, you get it implemented, and if it start working, it becomes a concrete framework, which definitely you should not expose. Then everyone will start using that strategy.
Right.
People don't reveal their strategy, but so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying, sir, honestly speaking, it was really a great session, sir, and all the slides were highly, containing useful information. And thanks a lot for giving this much insights. Just my last question, sir, like very nicely you have said where Chat GPT and LLMs are failing. Like you gave the example of motor vehicle app, right? And you have also showed us that how we can utilize it for self-learning and different examples you have given. But a doubt comes to mind when it is failing in so many occasions, and how to rely on the output for mathematical questions also. Say, for example, the complicated formula which we are showing. So, say, for example, as a user, I got that output, right? So, how to confirm that whether it's a right, right answer or wrong answer? Because motor vehicle act was very appropriate to find it out that whether it's a right answer or wrong answer. But when we are getting a complicated mathematical output, so how to verify that it's a right answer or wrong answer? Hope I am able to.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a good question. So actually, if you think about it little more, this problem is not just with the LLMs, it's with the machine learning. That machine learning is based on probabilities. You never, like, if you create a ML model to predict like who will default the loan, it will never be accurate. So here also it's not accurate, but whatever it is providing is God level. It's like another level. Even you would agree. It's whatever it is providing is next level, but we have to use it with caution. One way I would suggest is, suppose you are solving a problem, what you can do is that have some rules that if whatever the LLM gives you as an output, you will just do some word matching, and with the actual motor vehicle act, those, let's say 20% of the words are matching, you will pass it. So in that way you can do course correction or have a layer of guardrails, but always there will be some errors or what to say limitations of these models. Hope that answers your question. So there are a few more questions. I have is computer science background. I have already answered this. Is BS in data science enough to grow on BTech or to grow or BTech required? To be honest, I don't exactly know what courses are covered in BS, but again, my answers will be, if fundamentals are clear, you can, it's not tough. Okay, I see one hand raised. Sandeep, do you have a question?
Yeah. So I was just wondering, like, is there any relation between like the autocomplete and like, the when you Google something, it predicts what you're trying to Google? Like, is there something? Is it like related to large language models in any way, or is it like completely different tech behind that?
Is it the question that when you try to search something in Google, it also auto-completes? Uh, how is that autocomplete different from the autocomplete of maybe with the suggestion that LLM gives?
Yeah, basically, like even when you're testing, like it's like the phone knows what you're trying to test to the other person, right? So I was just wondering, is this like based on the same science behind it, or is it like completely?
Got it. So yeah, autocomplete is a task. It's solved in multiple ways. One is exact matching. When you do an exact matching, for example, I am searching for a name in database, Abhishek Mungoli, ABHISHEKMU. Till I have reached MU, it would have already filtered out that the most matching word is me. And till the time I am at Abhishek, it knows that many people have that name. So it will suggest me those names. So in exact matching, you don't need any machine learning on data science. Now coming to the next one, which is approximate matching. In approximate matching also there are algorithms where uh, like it does some kind of like you would have already read about it, like the edit distance and there's a name to it, like dynamic programming kind of thing, where you see how many errors and all you can do. There are algorithms for it which are deterministic. You can do an approximate matching also, but also there are models which can do autocomplete based on ML, like do the science, I mean ML based completion. So these models, what the Google does, it what it must be doing is it must be doing in the background. I am saying must because I have studied search engines and all. What they must be doing, they must be doing some query correction and searching it with the most popular queries and giving you suggestions. But what LLM does is it also does something similar, that these are your you would have seen in ChatGPT, even if you misspell some word, still the answer is correct. So there also it does some kind of machine learning based correction. So in short, the answer is there can be exact match where you don't need any data science. There can be approximate match where also you don't need data science, but there can be ML based or machine learning based or LLM based auto completion or correction as well. Go.
Thanks.
Sure. Go ahead, Kaushik.
Hello, sir. Thank you for a very informative session. So I have a more general question. For a person who is just probably learning data science and maybe very little experience in the industry and so on. So there, it looks like a huge ocean there, which has generative AI, you have machine learning, you have discriminative AI, and so on. So many terminologies there also. So for someone to kind of just get a good grasp of what should their journey be in terms of course the learning doesn't stop, but what should their journey be? Of course, people take up jobs and do whatever comes along the way, but if you want to have a foundation in terms of should we take the project route, do different kinds of projects, say in Kaggle or something like that, build up a portfolio of projects where we have done all of these things, and also things are getting outdated also quickly, right? And it's a very fast evolving field. So how does, if you, for example, I'm just asking yourself this question, if you were a person who's just come out to the industry now, how would your journey be, or how do you look at it from, progress from here so that you become a good data scientist?
So Kaushik, very good question. And I actually can't say I can relate with you, because when I started in data science, it was not that advanced as it has become now. And you are exactly right, like generative AI, there is when I was in my master's, AI was just coming up. When I say AI, I mean the neural networks were just coming up. But now if you see, neural networks have matured a lot and generative AI has come. And people who are in my position must be are thinking that will it take away jobs, and all those type of questions are coming, right? So it will always happen, the things will continue to keep evolving and we have to adjust. Now coming to your second question, how to start with, what to focus on? As I said, ChatGPT, GPT, and Auto GPT, and lot of other, like I was also covering, right? Nowadays people are spending time on pruning, quantization. Today only for this session, I was actually reading about some of the recent advancement, which is like flash attention and all. These things will keep on evolving. The best way is have the fundamentals clear. And when I say fundamentals clear, linear regression, logistic regression, probability theory, statistics, those will remain the baseline. Those things will never get outdated, because they lay the foundation. And once you have a clear understanding or strong fundamental, strong base, it becomes not very hard to follow up these things. Because when I say, if I say I am working transformer in my work, I am not coding it from scratch. The libraries are there, but I know the concept. I know if things are not working well, where the problem could be. There is where the experience or the knowledge comes. But it's not like you have to develop these things on your own, right? You have to just use these tools. So keep the fundamentals clear. I will say that again. And like there are many good courses out there. This Andrew Ng's courses are good. And in my channel, you can find linear regression, logistic regression concept. And I keep like this kind of, today I took you through ChatGPT, right? What ChatGPT does and how it is different from GPT. I hope it was clear, because I try to cover the basics. So in this way, whatever resources you find useful in internet or wherever, where you understand the basics clearly, keep going through them, but given the strong assumption that your fundamentals are clear. So keep the fundamentals clear, and on these fancy stuffs like ChatGPT and whatever research is going on, once in a while you can look through it, and it won't be very hard to follow. I also do that. I created some videos on LLM, and then in the past few days, lot of the things have changed. If you will go to my channel, you will see that the video that I have in LLM, the slide where I have created the LLM model, if you do the follow up, it's enough, but the fundamentals needs to be clear.
Thank you so
Hope
much.
that answers.
Yes,
Any
yes,
other
thank you.
question, Kaushik? Because I think that was a very relevant question, and that everyone would have related to.
Yes, thank you so much. That was very helpful.
Sure. Go ahead, Harshit. Harshit, go ahead. You are in mute.
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, actually, I don't have a question. I come with a request. Can you share the slides you just show us?
Okay. How can I share it? I mean, yeah, sure. I will share with the whole that organizer. But
can you share
also,
just the link
अच्छा, okay. ठीक है,
in the
ठीक
chat?
है. Well, अभी तो I will have to create the public link of it, but we'll share, and also the same slide is available in my channel as well. In the YouTube also, I have covered this topic. It's available there as well. But I will share.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for the session, sir. It was
Thank
fabulous.
you, Harshit. Thank you. I'll just go through the questions once. I don't want anyone to any questions to be missed out. What is the difference? Okay. Since all individual models are black box, are there no possibility of making multiple models interact with each other? I mean, if we have a model specialized with image recognition, other, yes. So the question is that is there a way to make one master model which can solve everything? I think it's something around that. So that is what multitask learning is about, right? That same model will solve multiple tasks, and nowadays it's used in many models, not just because one model is good to solve multiple tasks, but also because when you're solving multiple tasks, it acts as a kind of regularization, that you are not overfitting for a particular task. You are learning all the tasks pretty well at the same time, and as well as the data for other tasks is also getting in some way used to train this model. So multitask learning does that. Anybody does stat analytic only analysis and make dashboard through it? What is good starter pack projects for people to get a good initial experience in MLDL? Okay, good starter back project. So I have a list of projects in my channel. So also one the Kaushik asked, right, like how should one learn? I missed that part, to do it through a capstone project or something. In my channel, what I have done, I have trained embeddings. These also embeddings, right? I have a video how to train embeddings. I have a video on how to make a neural network solve mathematical equations. You can give any equation, it will solve it. So I have many such practical based videos in my channel. And why do I have that? Because Kaushik, the answer is even I learned through that way. I may not get to work in all the domains or fields, right? So what I do, I take, for example, I have to work in search. I have to understand how search work. I will read a paper. I will go through Kaggle. I will search for a data set, and if that data set I feel that हाँ इस ये वाला पेपर में इस data set में implement कर सकता हूँ, I will just use that data set and try to implement that methodology and post it as a video. But I don't get a lot of time, but I do have good projects that you can actually learn from and actually expand it, like the embeddings one. I have left this as last at the end, that it can be extended. I'm also launching one, I will be creating one video which is using transformer based embody, how transformers are getting used in creating embeddings, like the transformer models to create embeddings. So the difference in the embeddings will be, it will use those self-attention and all these methodologies. So I would say that just read something, go to Kaggle, get the data set and try to apply your learnings in the data set which you feel will help you learn that topic. For example, chef values. How chef values work? Just take a data set, make a model and try to explain it using chef values. Which sources do you rely? So as I told this already, I have a list of conferences. I read those papers. I have a list of companies. I know their blogs are good. I go through that. And how to get foreign internship in field of data science? I'm not very sure. Maybe by applying, just apply over LinkedIn. And please share them. I'm not very sure what's that. Something like TF-IDF. Yes, I'm not sure what is this about, but TF-IDF is turn frequency, inverse document frequency. It's a way in which this retrieval tasks were solved. In past, in present, so people use mostly embeddings and all, but TF-IDF can also be used as a feature. Yes, director of AI. Yes, Andre Karpathy was the past director of AI. Yes, he has created a basic LLM on Shakespeare poetry. Yes, there's a YouTube video on that, which he called some mini GPT or something. When you need it to be precise, it tends to be irritating. Better ask to respond. You don't depend. I didn't get this part, Narada. The Python module name. Okay. Hallucination. I think it's about hallucination. Yes, it hallucinates. What is difference between data scientist, soft computing, and AI developer in terms of skill set? So it's just the fancy title company gives, and it depends on company to company. Some data scientists build model, in some other companies, data scientists just write queries. So these are just some fancy model, fancy designation companies give. So it all depends on the, look for the job description, what is described in the job. When ChatGPT is so much trained on data, why is it so bad at maths? Yes. So why is it so bad at maths? I've covered this in one of my videos where I have explained how how neural networks can be trained to solve mathematical equations. So the reason is that ChatGPT is a language model. It's good for language, but if you are making it solve a mathematical task, it will never. Okay. So when you add two numbers, how do you think ChatGPT would be adding it? Do you think it does those carryover operations and all? No, it just learns that if these two numbers gets added, the answer should be in this region. That's why it gives you error. For example, 4 plus 3 is 7. It may give you 8 or it can give you 6, because it tries to discriminate the area or probability where that answer may lie. So that's why it's not good at maths, but now the latest versions are pretty good at maths as well. And what do you think about AutoGPT? AutoGPT is another very awesome concept, I would say, and it's more evolving, and let's see how it evolves. I think it's because language model doesn't use logic. It's basically like a just my own. So okay, so what these models are doing is they have a lot of parameters. They are learning, and that parameters is where the knowledge lies. And when you are getting an answer, you would say you will get one answer at one word at a time, one word, next word, and so on. So it's a probabilistic model, which depending on your prompt and depending on the prompt, it will just try to give you an answer by playing with the probabilities that given your question which word makes sense. And till now it has generated these 5 words. What should be the next word? So it's more of a probabilistic model, which is impressively very accurate. How are we going to distinguish between words generated by AI and human, like an image? How can we distinguish? I think in coming times, it will be hard to distinguish whether it's an actual image or an AI generated image. I think it will be very tough. Are there any tools available now? Yeah, there are some tools. So even you can create this tool, right? Like use DALI kind of OpenAI image generator, generate many images, take some images from your camera, and try to see if you can create a model which can discriminate between the two. So that is how they create these kind of models. They see that what is the pattern in AI generated image versus what is a pattern in actual clicked image. And in future, I think this gap will reduce. It will become very hard to detect whether the image is fraud. I mean, not fraud, AI generated or actual. Can you share the slides? We'll do that. It's also available in my channel. And what is the basic needed for generative AI? How should one learn generative AI? So I would say generative AI. See, generative AI is a again very wide word. Generative AI can be for text. It can be for images. So for text, you can go through understand the transformer model, how BERT works, how ChatGPT works. That's it, and keep following up what's new comes up. And for images, you can understand how DALI works, how Clip works. These are some of the image models which can generate images. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Ganga. Not more. Yes, not all models are correct, but some can be useful. How ChatGPT can be useful for startups. So same thing, depending on your business problem, how can you use it to get a kickstart? For example, let's say you have a new startup and you are selling some goods. People are giving reviews. Like let's say this I have, let's say I have created some business where I teach and I get these kind of comments. I want to know which are good comments, which are positive sentiment, negative sentiment. I don't have any pre data. What I can do is I can pass this to ChatGPT, say that generate a sentiment for each of the comments. And once I have that data set, then I don't need to rely on ChatGPT. I can use that data annotated by ChatGPT to train my own model. And advantage will be I won't have to give the money to ChatGPT because I won't do the API call. I will just do in the beginning to create my data, annotate my labels, not data, annotate my labels. And once I have the annotated data, I can use it for my on training. So in this way, you can use it in your startup. Great, sir. Okay, thank you, Pooja. Please, Deepak, sorry, what was your query? I would have missed it. In case I missed it, please, you can post it again or ask it, unmute yourself. Your vision for use of ChatGPT in retail and consumer goods. So retail and consumer goods. So retail e-commerce, I gave an example where you can do this feedback thing, right? Like sentiment analysis. Another thing can be you can ask you can ask ChatGPT, like if I buy bread, if a customer buy bread, what else they will buy? It will tell you butter and jam. So you can use it in your recommendation engine. That you can, instead of training your own ML model, you can generate that which products are bought together or which products are alternatives of each other. For example, if bread is, let's say if jam is not available, you can take butter. If butter is not available, you can take egg. So which are alternatives? In this way, you can use in detail. You mentioned about following GPT research paper. Can you please tell how to find them online? So, okay, very good question. So as today I said that you can read the GPT paper. I said you can read the BERT paper. Go to BERT papers. You can write a BERT paper, you will get a paper. And in paper references, there will be many 10 different papers. And those 10 different papers will be highly cited. You can see which paper interests you. And that paper again will lead you to 10 different papers. In that is one way. Other way is just follow the right people in LinkedIn. They will keep on posting and you can look like what they are suggesting. Can you give a link to your YouTube channel? Sure, it's DataTrek. You can search DataTrek Abhishek Mungoli. It should come up direct. Sorry, I do everyone in meeting. You can type this DataTrek Abhishek Mungoli, it should come up. Sorry, just give me 5 more minutes. I will cover this thing. Where was I? Okay. GPT-3 is identified, but I haven't seen GPT-4 generated. I'm not that. GPT-4, you can use this Microsoft Bing. It uses GPT-4, the one that I was showing. This one. Okay, sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. This Bing chat you can use. Is LangChain important? Yeah, LangChain is making a lot of noise. What LangChain does is, like there can be multiple open source LLMs, right? You can use any one of them. LangChain provides that capability. You can just change the model name, and also if your context vector is very huge, these LLM models have a context vector size like some predefined length. But if your context vector is very big, it can summarize it and pass as input and all those things. So yes, LangChain is making a lot of noise, and as well as few other similar companies like LLM, Llama Index, this kind of tools are making noise. Is Meesho keeping track of every user action? Sorry, I can't talk about that. Thank you guys. That's it. Thank you for everyone who stayed till end, and also everyone who joined the session initially. Hope it was useful. Any other questions before we close the session? Thank you. Sorry, it's not DataTrek, it's DataTrek.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? I guess that's it, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you so much. It was a very good session. We learned a lot from your side, and we expect for some such more sessions in the future.
Definitely. Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.